A flurry of reports this week leaving us with two options today. Either John McCain is really considering naming a pro-choice, pro-gay rights, pro-gun control registered Democrat as the Republican vice presidential candidate, or the straight-talk maverick is lying to his own party for his own political advantage. Our fourth story tonight, McCain fuels his number two speculation, pro-choice bipartisanship or pure political ploy. Just this afternoon, Rudy Giuliani told reporters he discussed McCain's selection process with him and that McCain's main criteria is national security, that the GOP is not, quote, a one-issue party. Seems like a contradiction there. This, as we officially learned today, that Lieberman will speak at the GOP convention. And today's Washington Times reported some state party officials are now scrambling to head off the prospect of Lieberman VP. After McCain's campaign told supporters on Monday and Tuesday Lieberman was a possibility and reportedly asked chairs in states to check the legality of putting a non-Republican on the ballot under the name Republican. Andrea Mitchell reporting that if McCain did put Lieberman on the ticket, he would take the even more stunning step of vowing to serve only one term, despite this pronouncement this January.
Would you consider pledging to run for only 4 years?
No, because I think then you're the lame duck. You're quacking on Inauguration Day.
As we consider the old line about it walking like a duck, pleasure to be joined by Bob Herbert, op-ed columnist for the New York Times. Good evening, sir.
How are you, Keith?
What's to be gained by pledging to serve only one term?
I don't think anything's to be gained. I mean, I agree with what McCain said. You know, you'll be quacking on Inauguration Day. You'll be a lame duck. You won't get anything done over the 4 years. He's going to be dealing with the Democratic Congress in any event. So a Democratic Congress who knows that the president's only going to be there for 4 years, boom. It makes no sense to me.
Would independents, would people who haven't thought this through quite as well as we might like them to have, think that way, or will they see this as some sort of self-sacrificing gesture on behalf of the nation? Does this tie in to this whole idea about Obama's running for ambition, and McCain, who admitted he was running for ambition in 2000, is now doing some sort of call to the nation here?
Well, what I think is that if he were to select Lieberman, which I do think that he's considering Lieberman, if he were to select Lieberman, I think that by then going and saying I'll only serve one term, it mitigates the advantages of having Lieberman on the ticket. I mean, on the one hand, you've got Lieberman there, which would be a move toward the center, trying to get these independent votes and some Democrats. On the other hand, you have I'm only going to serve one term, which just highlights the age issue, goes to the idea of you're not going to be able to get much done. There won't be much in the way of change. I think those two things fight each other. If he were to go with Lieberman, I'd be very surprised if he decided to announced that he was only going to serve for one term. This
idea, and there was some discussion that he had approached Tom Ridge, and obviously Ridge was named as one of the long shot possibilities, or the longer shot possibilities. There had been an opinion expressed by a conservative, by I think somebody from the religious right, that this was a complete deke, that this was designed just to make him look like he'd talk about Ridge.
Right.
Could that be the same case with Lieberman? And how could pretending to talk about either of these people as vice presidents help and not simply be thrown back at him as you lied to us?
Well, like with the idea of saying I'm only going to serve for one term, I don't see the upside for McCain of just doing a head feint here. I think that I think the stuff with Lieberman is real because those two guys get along well. They're close. He's comfortable with Lieberman. They both do this whole bipartisan thing. And what I think has happened is as McCain has come up some in the polls, and some polls actually have him a little bit ahead of Obama, I think what has happened is that he's beginning to think, you know, maybe I don't have to push so hard for those on the right. Maybe there's more to be gained moving to the center. You look at these Hillary Clinton voters who say that they're uncomfortable with Obama, you know. So I think that he's making a hard political calculus, you know. I may be better off going towards the center and trying to get some of these Democrats. The right's going to come along anyway. There's one other thing that I think he's thinking about. He's obviously very interested in these undecided women voters. And the Supreme Court is going to be a big issue. That pro-choice thing is going to be huge because of the makeup of the court right now. And I think that's one of the strongest issues the Democrats have. That's one of the big things in their ammo pouch. As you get into October and closing in on November, the Democrats are going to say, look at the Supreme Court, another vote, Roe v. Wade is history. Do you really want to risk that? And if McCain puts a pro-choicer on the ticket, it helps obviate, it helps fight that issue.
Well, we'll see where the religious right goes then. Bob Herbert, the columnist at the New York Times, very, very great. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you, Keith.